Well, welcome to another edition of the Digicel Sports Show right here on Islandstats.com. I'm your host, Earl Baston, and joining me once again is Lucky Juggling J. Lucky.
Keep telling
Yeah.
Keep telling you.
We're tied on points in football after this week's
You do hear his tone.
girl feast.
Yeah, a lot of girls.
63 in total. We have a youth league that's underway on Mondays and Wednesdays. And, a lot more to talk about. But let's first get a message from our sponsor and then come back with the sports show today.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber-to-the-home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Well, Jay, interesting matchups, interesting results. On Saturday, 10 goals in 2 games. Both teams that won came from 2-0 down to pull off victories. North Village proved that they still want a shot at the title, defeating PHC 3-2. And then later on in the evening, Social Club looking comfortable, but Flanagan's managed to score 3 goals, meaning that game 3-2. Overall, you look at the performances, or you look at the results. We both picked PHC to win. Obviously, it was a surprise to both of us. But then we had mixed in the night game. You said it was going to be a draw. I picked Flanagan's. Flanagan's ended up winning. But how much of a shock was the result to you of the PHC North Village game?
But I tell you what, we going into that match, we would say, how would PHC respond from the loss, the last loss?
Right.
And it was a shock to me due to the fact that they were 2-0 up because they responded.
Yeah.
Without the likes of Casey Castle even on the field. So he had made some adjustments so without the whole squad out there feeling mighty comfortable. The complacency may have set in.
They missed a lot of chances while so I was there.
And this is where I'm going with that, the focus. The focus when you are 2 up.
Right.
And you've had their number for a minute. So the lack of focus in the final third. I hate to say it, that was PAC's problem the last couple of years.
Right, finishing. This year they've been pretty good with it. So hopefully that's for the strike force. Hopefully that's just a one-off thing because there's some interesting matches coming up. But as far as Village is concerned, they had an outside chance and they needed. Well, they pulled back a few.
Right, they needed
veterans.
this victory, and they needed the victory to
put themselves back into conversation.
Now the veterans you're talking about, go ahead, Keith Jennings.
Keith,
he keeps turning back the clock.
Yeah, well, but you know what? It's funny because if you're fit, no matter what age you are, the way the game is played now, and in Bermuda, guys can still play.
And Keith has always been an intellectual player.
Right.
It's not like he's been brute force or brute speed, a lot of speed.
Yeah.
He's been a player to manipulate the tempo.
Ran out of gas.
Well, that's
to be expected.
That's to be expected.
You had Devray Tankard playing for the first time in a
number
of
years.
Well, a number of
It's been a minute.
Yeah, he had to probably take the cupbears off the boots. But these guys are answering the call to help their club. Also on the field, who has been playing off and on all season, LaShawn Deal. You start putting these ages up against, along with Keyshan, who's been around for quite some time, but you put these guys' ages up to the youngsters that are filtering through the team, it sort of brings that level of maturity into the North Village team.
Let me show you what that also happens too, because these guys are
seasoned.
Seasoned age. They have to play simple.
Right.
They have to simplify the game because no, I cannot go around any channel.
Yeah.
No, I cannot. So I got to make this simple ball pass. I got to make this simple pass or the simple run or
Right.
I got to do everything calculated because I've got to conserve my energy.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, and that's what needs to happen. And then later that night, Flanagan's Onions has given themselves an opportunity to survive just by picking up the 3 points. It's still a tall order, but in order to give themselves a chance, they had to come away with 3 points.
My question would have been, why was Keston Lewis on the bench at the start?
Because I think he only trained that couple of days before the game.
Because we know how much they need, and then it showed.
Well, and that's and probably
So is it
you look
more-
at it two ways.
Is it more as trying to
If
conserve?
he comes on and injects life into the game,
Yeah.
it's to Flanagan's favor.
Yeah.
If he starts the game and it's flat, it's to Social Talk's favor.
But if they would have lost the game and he only played 20 minutes, because they were down.
Right. But it's one of those things that you
If,
try.
Earl, I could tell you, and if I'm going to battle and it's times are desperate, I need my war horses.
Sure.
I don't want to. This
Worked
worked
out
out.
in their favor.
This worked out. But boy, I would have had a lot of questions to ask because if I'm going to war and I leave one of my war horses back at the stable,
Well, he was in the pavilion.
he wearing no grazing.
No. I was making him hungry on the side. Go get him, Tiger. Then you turn around to Sunday. No surprise out at St. John's Field, other than the score, I think. We expected Denny Town to beat Somerset 6-2. Did you see that?
I didn't see 6-2.
Right.
Because Somerset has been playing more consistent.
Right.
Let's go there.
Right.
But more consistent.
Right.
Good to see the Rattery Smith brothers both one of these scores.
Sure.
But Denny Town now is probably a team now that PAC has to say, okay, they've talked about it, but I think it now all come to a point now they've very much talked it into existence.
Over their shoulder, there are two teams right on their heels, 2 points behind them. And the other team, who finally picked up a win in 2018,
Yeah.
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
It looked a different outfit. They looked a little more organized. Obviously, Devonshire Cougars, they struggled at times to play with a flow. Arunde Bascom was in the midfield with Alan Douglas Jr. on the left side, starting on the left side. You had Levince Toda in the middle. Gironde Smith he looked out of sorts only because he was trying to find something to do. Moses was trying to controlling things in the midfield, but where I think Gironde and Moses are so much alike, by taking Gironde out and giving him a free role, it sort of messed up the chemistry. So although Arunde can make the passes and all, Gironde reads the game a little better by moving back and forth, side to side. And if he gets caught out of constantly getting the ball, it's almost like Moses. If you get caught out of getting the ball, you tend to end up watching the game more than being a part of the game.
Right.
So that's what really hurt Devonshire Cougars. But in Robin Hood's case, Antoine Russell playing up front, he was always a threat. He had Lejean Simmons running off of him, always a threat. They look good going forward. Still got questions down the back. There's no telling how long Jason Simons, who's out with an ankle injury, will be out. Agent Timmy Figueredo is in goal. But on the sideline and warming up the goalkeeper was Dale Eve, who is waiting for international release.
Tim was like, will you hurry up?
In order, if he ran around the BFA and signed it himself. But that he will actually bring, once he's given the approval, he will actually bring some experience at the back. Now, we've seen him play for Dendy Town. And I remember a game a few seasons ago where he played at Police Field against Devonshire Colts, and Devonshire Colts beat him 6-2, something like that. But the confidence that Dale and experience that Dale brings to an experienced side like Robin Hood will be what they need.
I was going to just mention that. I think Dale will work better with this outfit because it's more of an experienced side. And he's not going to be the only alpha.
Right.
Dale probably at this time of his career being with a young squad and then being a alpha could probably cause some problems coming into this late part of the season. Different if you're training, preseason, because then players get to accustom of how people talk to each other, which we know some people can be approached so abruptly.
Right.
Some players need that to get them going. But with the Robert Hood side, there's some experience. And there's also some alpha males. And we told about, and the head alpha male is Antoine Russell himself. But also you got a coach that's very strong-minded too. That was the game that you went with Cougars, and I went with Robin Hood just on the fact that if Robin Hood wanted to be a part of this race, they had to. And it was down to who was actually going to play. And I said if Antoine Russell was able to play in his natural position, they would have a great chance.
Right.
Jalen Bradford actually came into started the game. So they was able to loosen, fix a couple of things they had. And I think that rest, once again, I think that paid dividends for Robin Hood.
Right.
How they can structure, especially against a team like Devonshire Cougars, who are small but are fast.
Yes. Yeah.
So now we got to figure out how we're going to combat that because we know that's what their game plan is going to be.
Yeah.
It's sort of hard, and it probably goes both ways, but even for a team like Devonshire Cougars, how do you practice against a taller team?
Yeah. Now, the one mistake they kept making was trying to cross the ball into the box. This ain't working.
So
instead of driving the ball across the ground,
because once again, how do you practice that?
Yeah.
How do you practice that?
Yeah.
Speed, you can say, well, let's keep our lanes narrow. You know what I'm saying? Maybe come to whatever the case will be, or drop off. We could do certain things with that.
Right.
With height,
you got to be whipping the ball around into the box waist height.
Yeah.
Because for a tall guy,
but you got to be picking
uncoordinated.
You got to be picking out certain areas where the tall guy can't get to.
Right.
So you almost could be moving.
Or make him uncomfortable getting to.
Zonal crosses where this is gonna be a place where he's got to come out of his area that he's used to.
And you want a tall guy heading the ball towards his girl.
There you go.
Yeah.
So interesting matchup.
Then that final game, I didn't see 10 girls here.
No.
Well, I took a draw.
Yeah, I know what you was thinking.
Well.
Let's
and you took Crossroads 7-3, man.
Well, I stated they've had the momentum. We told this is the week 12 have been played. Probably after week 6, because those first 6 games were probably brutal for them.
Oh yeah, once they got the footing.
But once they got the footing, I think now you're starting to say, hey, these, you know what? The guys from down Devil's Hill now, Somersault Road now, hey, they might just be able to hang. And now to come away with a victory like that, man, can you imagine what the confidence level now in that changing room? And that's going to be.
Right. Yeah. Well, if you look at it, there's 6 games left in the Premier Division. It's all to play for.
No, definitely.
PAC 24 points, Robin Hood, Dandytown 22. But interesting, if on paper, Dandytown would look as if they have the easiest.
No, I would say that.
Who would you say?
I won't say that.
Who would you say?
Still got to go with PAC.
No, on paper. Who they got left?
Okay, PAC's got Robin Hood, the next match, which would be their next match.
Right.
Somerset, away to Crossroads, away to Boulevard, Devonshire Rack, Young Men's Social Club. Out of those teams they played in the first half, they did not lose to neither one of them.
Okay.
Okay?
They didn't lose in the first half to
Nope.
Dendytown nor.
Nope. But they didn't play Dendytown anymore.
No, I'm saying, but in the first half of the season, they didn't lose to Dendytown nor North Village.
Yeah, but that's nothing to do with the next season.
Right, but you said they didn't beat those teams in the first half.
Different quality. Let's
well,
be
okay,
real here.
all
I'm
right.
talking the top 14. Different quality.
All right.
Different quality. Yeah, they drew Robin Hood 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you give? Who would you give the upper hand on that game? Going into that game?
Robin Hood, they missed the penalty.
No.
Oh, going into that game?
Yeah,
oh yeah, PHC at the time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next draw was against Cougars, 1-1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the two hardest games.
Right.
Okay. So Dennytown at North Village.
Right.
They drew 1-1 first match. At Derbyshire Rack, they beat them 3-0 up the Rack.
Right.
At Boulevard, home to Boulevard.
Boulevard beat them down at Lord's.
But you probably expect a return.
Without a doubt.
And Young Men's Social Club, Crossroads, Flanagan's as the last game. So if you look at both of them with the last game to play, I think they're probably. I don't think it's gonna come down to that.
No,
okay?
no.
I think between those two teams, the team that
Who does Robin Hood have left?
I'm not even put Robin Hood into this equation. I'm not even putting into.
They're the defending champions, man.
They got 6 games to go. They barely made it here.
But they're in second place.
I'll get you there. I didn't even. I just didn't have no confidence. I didn't.
Okay, all right.
Okay, and like I said, I think the team that both PAC and and Dennytown will probably be marking on their calendar is the Crossroads. We just talked about it. I think that is the game that could probably.
They want to be spoilers.
I'm telling you, I personally think that is the. Both of them. They PAC has them in week number 12, week number 15, and Dennytown has them in week number 17.
Oh, oh boy.
Yeah, so tensions could be quite tight.
You could lose the league in week 17, can you? Or win it in week 17.
Now, North Village, quite interesting.
Well, how do you not pick the team that's in second, but you go to the team that's in fourth?
Because I momentum.
Okay, go ahead.
I just tell you, momentum is everything.
Momentum.
Yeah, momentum. Maybe you want to go that way too. They have Dennytown next. They drew. We talked about it.
Right.
They have Crossroads at Crossroads, which they lost to Crossroads.
Yes.
I think that was the start of
Their run.
their run. At Social Club, home to Robin Hood, because they beat Robin Hood 5-2. So they'll feel quite confident going into that match. At Somerset and Derbyshire Rack, but they lost to Derbyshire Rack and that's the last game of the season for them. So they will probably have the hardest.
They'll have the hardest.
They have the hardest.
Okay.
But once again, I'm going to throw that name out there. Crossroads could probably be a spoiler in there. And they have Crossroads in week number 14. So.
A week before they play PHC. So, yeah.
That's 2 back-to-backs.
Yeah.
And for PAC's sake, it might help them. might burn them out a bit.
Yeah. It's a hope and a prayer.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But okay. So give me your Robin Hood. Give me the Robin Hood scenario because.
Well, I don't know who they got left to play, but
I know they got Village.
But the fact that they are in second place, we can't, and the defending champions, you can't discredit them.
And like I said, even though the defending champions, they're about who should have been probably the keeper of the year last year. We know what the bench is like. It was just basically Joe and Barry Newsom.
Yeah.
We got 6 games to go.
Well, the good thing is that they had Shakir sent off last week.
Okay, he come back.
He comes back. So the guy that took his place goes on the bench, and he proved that he could play. So yeah, one more. John Barry plus one.
I ain't got no confidence in that depth of that squad. Maybe can they pull off? And I say this because based on last week, I talked about it. That week of rest, will help Robin Hood. They're not going to get too many weeks of rest going forward.
Yeah, they play Sunday, and the following Sunday they go to St. George. Yeah, so it's quite a bit to do.
Yeah, so that's where if they even if they had a couple, okay, you know what, Antoine, you done a good job today. We're up 2-1 or 3-1. Let me bring you off and give you some rest for the next game. They don't even have that. What if you're up 5-0? You ain't got nobody to say, let me take off and give my rest, Earl.
You're fine, player.
You can play short.
Well, you could always say, "Rap, I'm going off for a minute." Can I go off for a minute? Yeah.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
First division, because that, I think we talked about a tight race.
Yeah.
I think this is really
This weekend's past results sets up Sunday coming. And we'll talk about Sunday coming on Thursday. Because Sunday coming, 3 teams have a look in the game. 2 teams play each other. One's on the offense, looking over. So let's look at the results from.
Let's look at the results from this.
Did you see Island Rangers losing by 1 to St. David's? We both picked St. David's.
No.
Not 4-3.
No, not 4-3.
Yeah. So that was a bit of a shocker.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. And then, of course, both of us took BA over Devonshire Colts 5-2.
No shock there.
I was shocked at the score line. Somerset Eagles and Hamilton Parish 3-1. I figured Eagles would have been able to.
Once again, I think that break may have helped Hamilton Parish.
Yeah.
Whatever guys they have trained, whatever the talk was, whatever, I don't know. The belief that we lost a couple of weeks ago, that is out of our heads a bit. I don't know. I'm pulling at straws here.
Yeah.
I'm just pulling at straws. You shocked us.
Yeah. And then the Paget Lions beating St. George's 3-0 down at Wellington Oval.
Can't say that you're shocked.
The scoreline, yes. Yes, the scoreline, yes.
Because you was expecting us to enjoy this victory.
I was, or a closer game, in the scoreline. You had picked Paget, I took St. George. And then the final game.
Well, hold on. Before you get, I would even just throw this out there because you're my boy, and that was predicated because we both didn't think the Unstoppable
Right.
was going
and that's what we had talked about in length.
Right, so
that
I would,
he brings a different element to the team. Whereas if it's not on the field, every team would feel as if they have a chance. When he's present, you start doubting yourself, and clearly. He makes a big difference in the team. So.
Now, that would mean Deanna will have
one more game. And of course, that one game.
It's a big game. I wonder if that was strategically.
The 14th is 2 days after the game day. So, yeah.
We'll go next.
And then, did you see 11 from Rangers over Wolves?
I saw probably 7.
Yeah, I didn't see 11.
I'll see 11 to anybody, but
Yeah.
I saw a big number.
Yeah.
So Wolves, you just don't know what you're getting with Wolves,
Right.
and
Right.
it's been it's I don't know. I mean, you got some good guys in that community, and I say this because now there's got to be a call now for some of the elders. We just talked about how North Village has that pool of ex-players
Right.
that when they see their team in trouble, you know what?
They show up.
Let me dust off my boots and let me get back out and help my
The
club.
problem is one of their elders, Jared, who was playing for them,
Yeah.
is out injured.
Well, that's one, but we're talking about that's one.
Yeah.
You know,
There's a
they've
few.
They've got exactly. Right?
There's a
But
few.
There's a lot of guys around Jared's age.
But okay, it's two ways of looking at it. Yes, you want to help the club, but do I really want to put up with these guys' antics?
Well, that's where the coaching comes in, and that's where.
Do they have one?
Well, now you're going to the bigger problem. Now you're going into the bigger problem because if structure was in place, then it'd be a little bit easier, and that's one thing Village A is good with.
Structure. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so keep that in mind. So, yeah, but looking at that was the last game.
Yeah.
Let's go straight to Paget because just analyzing, like I said, over the 12 weeks, what they've done. And one particular stat stuck in my mind.
Goals against.
Wow, how you?
Simple. They have conceded very few goals.
9.
Very few.
9. This was a team for years and years and years and
Centuries.
years. They were scoring centuries.
No,
Okay?
they were conceding centuries.
Bro, yeah, this, you know,
At one point in time, it was 118.
goalkeeper who had his back problems for bending over and picking up the ball so much. You know, had to try to find a contraption. Spectators used to kick the ball back out of the goal. They have conceded 9 goals in 12 matches. And yes, on top of the table, but that was like, because it was a single digit that stuck out. And I was like, whoa, hey. Now, interestingly enough, Southampton Rangers have probably scored the most goals, but they're sitting in third place.
Third place.
And it's going to be quite interesting. It's not much because you're looking at Paget at 31, BAA at 29, and Southampton Rangers at 28. But let's look good on the last 6 games for Paget. Their next game we talked about, which would be very important. We talk more in as far as strategy on Thursday, but we'll be against BAA. It will be a home game for BAA. I mean for Paget.
Yeah, because they beat them at BAA.
That's right, and they beat them at BAA 2-0.
Yeah.
Then they're at Wolves.
Yeah.
That can get ugly.
Well, that one would be the first one that Dion would miss.
So, okay, and they beat them 3-0. Now, they drew with Rangers.
Big derby that day.
Big derby. Then the at Colts, at St. David's, Ireland Rangers for the last game of the season.
That's Paget.
That's Paget.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're seeing
Stovall misses the second game, Wolves, and he'll miss the Rangers game.
Right.
Yeah.
But he'll be back for the rest.
Yes.
Okay. BA at Paget, St. George's, Wolves at St. David's at Eagles, Rangers. The last game of the season, and they drew 2-2 with Rangers.
That will be decided. That match will decide who wins the league.
Between
the 3 teams, that game will decide who wins the league. Who's ever in second place at that time will have the most pressure. Because whoever's in third, if it's hypothetically, if Paget's in third and that game comes about, who's ever in second then has to worry about that last match.
Because they're going into that last match. It's going to be a write-off for Paget going to Island Rangers.
Right. That's the point I'm making. Paget will be in the perfect position,
Right.
either first or third.
I think Paget, as long as they do not lose more than one game.
One game. They could hypothetically, they could lose to Rangers. They can't lose to BA.
No.
Because what you want to do is make sure when Dion Good is still leading the league.
They've got at least that or draw.
Right.
I think they're still in there with a draw.
Right.
Right? Because even Rangers, right? Rangers, they had Eagles, which can be tricky.
Right.
Island Rangers is right after that.
Right.
But then it's at Paget, St. George's, Hamilton Pash, BA.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, they're 3 points away from
Right.
Paget.
Right.
So they need Paget to drop some points, and they can afford to drop in.
Well, that's in trying to win the league,
Yeah.
which I know their coach will want to do. But the other thing to keep in sight is BAA.
Promotion. Well, and
Yeah.
they're only 1 point.
Because for most teams, what you want to do first is clinch promotion.
Promotion, yeah.
Then you want to challenge the league. So, I mean, this is probably the first time we've had 3 teams really knocking on the door this late.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that it continues. Because it's
Yeah.
only going to make football that much more interesting. And the fact that now even the Premier Division has gotten tight, people's going to start looking.
I'm going to be just a slightly bit off from what you stated. I think the last game will come down to who actually goes up as promotion. I think the league will be. I'm thinking the league might even be done by the second last week.
I don't think so.
Just
I want to
saying.
come down to the last.
I know what you want.
The last Sunday, and that Rangers BA game. Where is that?
The Rangers BA game, it at Rangers.
If you recall, last season the league title was won at Rangers as well. By the away team.
Rangers is a different team from last year.
That I know.
Totally different.
That I know. But
Different coach.
yes,
Different mind now.
and they would remember that feeling of walking off the field watching Crossroads celebrate.
Let me tell you what BA's got to watch out for, right? Because yes, Rangers is 1 point behind BA, but Rangers has a superior
Goal difference. Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Without a doubt.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Well, Jay, last week, the Bermuda Olympic Association presented rugby with a Olympic Solidarity grant at the National Sports Center. Let's get that interview with the BOA and Bermuda Rugby.
Good afternoon. We are here today to present to the Bermuda Rugby Union a program that was a program that was produced by the Olympic Solidarity in conjunction with the World Rugby Union to support their program here in Bermuda. It is called the Teen Support Grant, which allows them to be supported for this quadrennial, meaning 2017 through 2020. And they have done all the work that has been approved by the World Rugby Union and the Olympic Solidarity. And today, that's what we're here to do. Congratulations, President.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the Bermuda Rugby Union, I'd like to thank the Bermuda Olympic Association for their continued support. Without their support, I don't think we would be where we are. It's indeed a fantastic development for the sport that our program, our local national team sevens program, has been recognized and that it meets the stringent criteria for support. It's our program is a 4-year program over which we'll receive funding to the tune of $60,000. This will strengthen our program, and we're hoping to get the results on the park through the hard work of a core group of coaches. We have Jonathan Cassidy and Tom Healy, who are on either side of me, who've worked tirelessly over the last 6 years to get where we are. We're very grateful for the sponsorships that we've had and the support of Atavis. And it speaks volumes to the potential that our young athletes have in this very challenging sport. I would say that we're also looking now to tie in and get involved in the elite athlete program. Now that we're an Olympic sport, we can now look to become more professional in our approach. And once again, Stan, thank you to the Bermuda Olympic Association, certainly the IOC and the Olympic Solidarity Fund. This is indeed a great development for Bermuda. I would encourage other national sports bodies to approach Bronwyn and look at what opportunities are available for us. But thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Jay, yesterday, big announcement involving youth football, where a group including Kenny Thompson, Andrew Bascom, and Henrik Schroeder have come up with a youth league that plays Mondays and Wednesdays at the National Sports Center. And this league has been endorsed by the Bermuda Football Association. They had a press conference yesterday to announce the league and how it actually benefits both organizations, with Kenny Thompson and Mark Wade.
Good afternoon. The Youth Football Super League, Bermuda Super League, is a competition that has been organized as an initiative to provide a consistent development opportunity primarily for players and coaches within a vibrant and competitive setting. The competition is built on 3 main pillars of youth player development, professionally structured environment, and education and knowledge sharing for players, coaches, administrators, and the general public. With regards to youth player development, through the Super League, we aim to make a significant contribution to young players' progress by gaining experience of regularly playing in a competitive environment. With regards to organizing the Super League within a professionally structured environment, our idea is to create a professional environment for an experience that is exciting and highly motivating to players and fans. With regards to education and knowledge sharing, the Super League concept is to provide experience, training, and information on and off the pitch for players, coaches, and parents, including access to schools with focus on social development, health and nutrition, coaching, refereeing, and administration. Young players play football for fun and ambition, and with visions of their favorite players playing in their favorite competitions in their heads. With this in mind, we brainstormed on what would be required to build an environment that the young players can relate to based on what they know from what they see on television, the internet, and social media. We started with the idea of relating to the professional environment, with the competition being held at the National Sports Center, primarily for the top quality of the pitch and the professional eye-catching goals. This then led to the addition of other professional football components and developmental behavior rituals. We have been in detailed discussion with the Bermuda Football Association with regards to this competition and its goals and concepts, and the Bermuda Football Association have accepted the Super League as something that adds to their football goal of providing opportunity for player participation and development in an exceptional environment. We strongly believe that optimal player development occurs through high-quality coaching, proper pitches, and facilities, and high-quality competition. When one of these components is compromised, the goal of optimal player development is also compromised. We are pleased and excited to present the Youth Football Super League Bermuda Super League.
You've already had games going on, but now you're coming up with the announcement. Were you just fine-tuning things to ensure that things were running as smooth as you would have liked it to, given the start?
Yes, we wanted to get started. A lot of things happened in a kind of, it's been a long time since we first started to talk about it, but then everything kind of came together very quickly in terms of getting started and what date we wanted to get started. So basically, as the date kind of came to what we wanted to start the competition, we didn't want to delay it while we ironed out some kinks. We wanted to get started, and at the same time, we can build gradually to the level that we actually want to go to. So it's been good doing it, because getting started has kind of shown us some things that we envisioned that we wanted it to go to initially, that maybe we had to kind of change a little bit as well. So far it's been embraced by the players and parents, and you know, I think the public can look out for even bigger things, because we have a lot of concepts that we're going to be implementing. But it's important to note that I think, in short, had we tried to cross all T's and dot all I's, we might not have gotten started before the 2022 World Cup, probably. You know, so we wanted to get started, and you know, it's been great that we've started it.
Mark, how does this fit into the Bermuda Football Association's strategic plan?
Well, certainly always looking for opportunities to play more football. We know that our particular season is short in terms of player development. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect is being able to demonstrate what can be done in Bermuda with the right type of support, right type of resources. So this is, you know, fits right into, you know, what we're trying to do. And then also being able to establish some strategic partnerships which meet those goals. So, you know, it was really a quick discussion, detailed but quick, because does it tick the box of player development? Yes. You know, does it tick the box of more football? Absolutely. Does it tick the box of being able to show what can and should be done? Absolutely. Ticks the boxes. So it just ticked off a whole lot of boxes, and you know, we're just happy to be here, be a part, be able to sanction the event, and you know, hopefully, you know, with the support of certainly the BFA and then you know, the corporate community, the event can grow.
Kenny, you guys have set this bar quite high, with so many things happening in such a short space of time. We're in the grand scheme of things, obviously you want to grow even bigger, but looking at it, you guys have been talking from an outsider looking in. Where can it go from here? I mean, where do you foresee it in say 5 years?
Yeah, basically a situation where all of the clubs, in particular the A teams of those clubs, can look forward to a consistent, high quality and competitive competition for an extended period of that season. For example, we currently have an exceptional competition in Bermuda for youth football in Capital. And that's for one weekend. So what we want to do is to provide this sort of environment, if you will, and competitive element on a consistent basis for a number of months throughout the season. And then further to that, not just the elite teams of each club, but also, let's say, for B and C teams. So for the A teams, the concept will be more like a Champions League concept. And for the B and C teams, the concept will be more of a Europa League concept. So we want as many participants as possible to have the opportunity to compete, and through this competition to grow as players, and then also as coaches, and in a very vibrant and exciting environment. So for now, we have of course, we wanted a really good surface, because it's important that the players get to play on a high quality surface to enhance their technical and tactical skills. The eye-catching goals, you know, really professional goals that kind of bring a different, I guess, excitement to the whole environment. And then further to that, through our partners, future partners, that the concept of the professional environment with top quality billboards. So everything that we're doing first has the idea of what can we do to enhance the football drive and football development, and if that means purchasing eye-catching and professional goals, then that's what that means. Then we attach whatever cost to that is, and we try to raise that money to get those funds. But the first idea always is it good for football? And we feel that placing the players in a really high quality and exciting environment will raise their level of drive and motivation, and then we make a whole lot of other demands on the players as well. So there are a lot of things that we kind of have cooking, if you will, at the moment, and it's the environment is going to be spectacular.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
It's starting in January, correct? You're saying like competing in school football and as well as club football, obviously. But then in January, when school football is done, it's just a pick up of that. Is that?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, there were kind of other reasons for starting in January, but now that we've started, yes, we can see the positive impact of starting in January because it doesn't clash with school football. Then just around the corner is the end of the regular Bermuda Football Association season, and then we continue until the end of June. So looking at it, and we kind of reached this conclusion because we've started that it's actually a good thing to start in January. To start in September, then we have some other issues, namely school football, and also the National Sports Center. Of course, there would need to be a significant break because of the Rugby Classic. So in this case, it can be a lot more consistent starting in January.
And what will the format be, and how many teams are going to be involved, and what age groups?
Yeah, we actually had planned for a maximum of 12 teams in each age group, under 9, under 11, and under 13, and a maximum of 8 teams in the under 15 division. So in each of those divisions, we're just below those numbers. So in one division, we have 9 teams, and another we have 8 teams, and so on. So basically, the basic format is for each team to play each other in a league format, and then the top 4 teams of that round robin then go to a semifinal knockout stage, and then the winners play in the final. So basically, the other thing, the format is that it's all 7-a-side for each of the categories, but the 9s and 11s, they play on a smaller pitch than the 13s and 15s. So we have the schedule concept where they play every other week. So 9s and 11s will play one week, and the following week will be 13s and 15s. So it alternates like that. Again, first of all, the concept behind that was that we wanted the players to kind of miss a week, and therefore get excited about when their week came. It's just human nature. Sometimes if we get it every week, then it becomes a little bit boring to the players. So the idea was to kind of have it every other week so that they miss a week, they get to train, they get to build up a little bit of excitement, and then they're ready to go during that match day.
And is it weekend matches or midweek matches?
No, it's the matches this season are on Mondays. So the competitive matches are on Mondays, and then we also have a sort of supplement to the competition with B and C teams that then play friendly matches on Wednesdays.
Have you been encouraged with the feedback you got from local clubs?
Yes, for the most part, the clubs have been interested. Certainly the clubs that are involved at the moment. There are some clubs who didn't participate for various reasons, because it wasn't a part of their original kind of season plan. So things came about very quickly, and so they didn't want to commit. But every club that we've spoken to has said that for sure next year they want to be able to do it. So for the start, to get 75 to 80% of the number of teams that we wanted in the competition is fantastic, and we feel strongly that it's only going to grow in terms of participation next year.
And who should I refer to being behind this? Obviously you're involved, you mentioned Andrew Baskin.
Yeah.
Who should I refer to, and obviously it's conjunct with the BFA, but who do I refer to as being kind of overseeing the competitions?
Yeah, basically it's Andrew and I, who are the main kind of brains behind it. We have Henrik as well, and the three of us spent a lot of hours basically just talking about this since last April, about what we could do with youth football.
How long is the BFA league that should let the youth league? Does that finish in January?
The BFA league will finish the week before the Kappa tournament. We always line it up that way.
So do you see this as a seamless sort of continuation to give kids competitive matches when usually that kind of, I guess, won't be doing too much now until?
Sure. I mean, the idea, technically, we're trying to get to playing 9 months of football, if we're honest, and we're 3 months away from that. So this certainly helps to build on it, and the fact that the competition actually starts in January does give a little seamless transition over to the youth Super League. So again, it's just a no-brainer for me, really. And once we start ticking off the boxes, it just became obvious that this is something that really we can start to do some development of the players based on the island. I think, as you guys know, we have a lot of players off island, college, prep school over in the UK who participated in our international teams. So the base of our international teams is on island. So how can we get them better competition? Certainly. And this is a way of really improving the on island base of players.
What time matches start?
Kickoffs are scheduled for 6, 7, and 8 p.m. At the moment, the under 9s and under 11s, their kickoffs are currently 6 and 7. And then, like tonight, we have the under 13 and under 15. So there's one match that kicks off at 8 p.m.
At Northfield or main stadium?
The Northfield, yeah.
There was a lot of talk years ago, take you back, where Kenny and Andrew could never get along. Was this quiet orders, street rumors of Kenny and Andrew working together in harmony to help move football forward?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's amazing because some things that were said were a lot of surprise to Andrew and I.
Mm-hmm.
We've always been cordial to each other. I went to play for Village because of Andrew. He was the coach at the time. So yeah, I think I don't know, it's normal, I guess, that people say things that they have no idea, and then if one person says something, it might have been that somebody somewhere said they saw Andrew and Kenny talking at BA one day, and by the time it gets to the 10th person, is that they were arguing. And then it takes so no, I don't know where that most of it came from. I don't care, to be honest. People say a lot of things that are untrue, and we just do our work. So maybe if this helps to quiet those rumors, then fine, and if not, then that's also fine.
Does Andrew help with BA now? Is he involved in the coaching?
Yeah, he's working with the first team. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's been fantastic. We're working very close together. Obviously, in previous years, we haven't worked together, but that had nothing to do with any animosity. Just that, he works at BA and I work at ABC. Pep Guardiola works at City and Mourinho works at United.
It seems that it seems that at the moment, maybe I'm wrong, guys, but it seems that at the moment there's been quite a lot of harmony, I suppose, between, more so than there has been, certainly since I've been on the island. There's often this tribal element. It seems at the current time there seems quite harmony between coaches in Bermuda football, things coming together. Is that fair to say, do you think? Or am I
Yeah, I think that one thing I've said, in recent years, I guess maybe the last 2 or 3 years, is that we have a different generation of coaches now who are they're more inclined to seek education. I think previously, if I go back to when I was youth director at Bermuda Football Association, then we had a different coaching mentality. You had coaches that would ask the question, why should I do some coaching education? You had coaches who were maybe at that point win at all cost, so it wasn't about development, it was just about winning. So in fact, some of the things that are in place at the Bermuda Football Association with regards to youth football are the result of that mindset back then.
Sure.
Now we just have a different generation of coach, and who are they're prepared to get better. They want to get better. If it means doing the licenses, then they're prepared to do it. They work a little bit differently. Of course, they're competitive and they want their teams to win, but it's not before kind of player development. And at the end of the day as well, I think that there are a lot of friends in working in football as well, who are friends despite being opposing coaches and so on. So yeah, I think it's a lot of things, and so yes, your I guess assessment is accurate that there's a different feeling now among coaches to, that at the end of the day, it's about football, it's about battering football, it's about battering the players and looking out for the players. It's not about us as coaches. But at the same time, coaches should be ambitious as well. So should a coach strive to be the national team coach? For sure. And it shouldn't be just one. Every coach should have that ambition. Of course, one is going to be appointed at any given time, but that doesn't mean that we all have to go crazy towards each other.
Mark, you talked about assistance with corporate Bermuda as well as the BFA. In what regard are you referring to the BFA? How can they assist to make sure this venture here is sustainable and can grow?
I think being an active supporter, in the past been a lot of discussions behind the scenes where, okay, yes, we'll adjust the schedule to help you, but that's not been active and visual. And I think for the BFA to be visually supportive and putting out an official sanction of an event, now you can go to businesses and say, listen, the National Sports Governing Body sanctions this event. I'm fully supportive of everything that we're doing. I think that's important. I think that's an important step to make. I think it's also important, I think, you guys touched on it, about the different factions. And it's also important for us to eradicate that thought process that, there's this faction over here and there's this faction over here and then there's this BFA over here. That is another thing that I think is very important that we eradicate, because there's overtures, they happen, and they kind of do the wrongs in the corporate community, and that's just not what it is. I think we're all focused on the players. I think that's important. I think we have to all remember that it's all about the players, and the better they get, the better we all look. To be honest, that is also the show, but so on that aspect, support from the BFA thing is important, and then we just have to throw away all the nonsense and rise above it, and that's one of the things I think is important for us.
Well, there you have it. It's on the table. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Did you hear me ask the question?
Yeah. And this is where it had to come to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that these two gentlemen, because we've talked about youth football, not in just youth football. Let's go back into sports in general, local sports in general. We always seem to have this, if that's their team or that's their team.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But it's generally started by people that are not even involved.
But regardless, how we got started, you get these different
Pockets.
Mm-hmm. But they all claim they're doing it for the youth football.
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing, where we don't want to enter, but we're seeing all this crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For Andrew Bascom and Kenny Thompson to come together, and for BFA
To sanction
it, which is, I wouldn't have expected this from what we've seen in the past.
Right.
I think kudos to all 3 or 4 gentlemen, because they've got back to priority is youth football.
Yeah.
What's best for youth football? We're gonna find if our players are training and playing at a higher level of competition, then it makes it easier for when we go now to the national program.
Right.
Because they know now when they're going up against another team or another country. For me, I love competition.
Right.
But I hate when coaches upstage our kids.
Right.
Parents upstage their kids.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if this is true or not. This is just me on the outside looking in. But I'm almost got to give kudos to Derek Broadley. And I'm going to tell you why. When he came and he wanted to take all that so-called negativity of winning at all cost out of the structure, it was able for some of these wounds to heal.
Right.
Or understanding or miscommunications or misinformation started by whoever.
Right.
For people now to just sit around and talk about what's best for the game. And you heard Kenny Thompson talking about, even now, coaches even want to be coached.
Right.
Instead of, look, Kenny, you coach your way, I coach my way. You like Spanish football, I like English football.
Right.
You like Dutch football, I like Brazilian football. You like French football, we've heard it all, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I could be wrong about this with Derek Broadley, but him stripping the leagues at the time,
Right.
which went on a lot of criticism.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
Because number one, it was changed. Right? But it's brought the likes of Maurice Lowe to leave his childhood club,
Right.
to go BA, then Rangers, and now you've seen these guys come from that era
Right.
with a focused mind of the development of players. That's
Yeah,
just
I
my
know.
take on it, though.
Yeah.
That's just my take.
Well, we'll see how it materializes.
I wish him all the best.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting because for me, the only thing that I have to, we taught this in all sports, is that every sport wants to extend their season longer and longer and longer.
Yeah.
And that's not just in the juniors, it's also in the seniors. And I just say be mindful and be careful of burnout.
Yeah.
Because I don't care what athlete it is. You can even talk to Philadelphia about it. Tyler Butterfield. Burnout is real.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, folks, enjoy your night. Hopefully we have a new sports minister by night's end.